So I've heard the abortion law reforms coming up. What are your guys' thoughts on the topic?
Well, I heard they want to take it out of the Crimes Act, but I'm not sure exactly what that means.
I never knew it was in the Crimes Act to begin with.
Yeah, I think it's a really complex topic, but I think the abortion law reform is a really good opportunity for us as a community to talk about what those issues are.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it needs to be talked about because there's so much confusion and there's so much around abortion as it is, and then trying to discuss it for a law change and what that would actually mean for us in New Zealand and for us as women. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just wondering how young can you get an abortion as well? Because then that also affects the, what group are they targeting? Because I feel like it's a very vulnerable subject. So do you know how young they can have an abortion or how long?
I think at any age in New Zealand, and under 16-year-olds, their parents don't need to be notified and they don't need to give consent in New Zealand.
That's really troubling.
So, yeah. I guess there's always been these ideas that, there's some women or young girls who are in this situation where if their parent was to be notified that they were having an abortion, it could put her in danger.
It's interesting though that what does that highlight? The environment that they're actually living in, if it's that hostile, is that not actually something that needs to be actually looked at instead of just, let's prevent any eruption of issue? Because there's always going to be something in life where maybe your parents aren't going to agree with you or support you, but if it's a question of life or death where actually you're at risk of harm because of their views, I think that's more troubling than a unplanned teenage pregnancy.
It makes me really sad because I've actually got friends who are forced into abortions, not just by their parents, but also some by their partners, and to see the kind of fall through that happens with them afterwards. Like a lot of them are heavily depressed. I'm just amazed at how quickly and easy you can actually get an abortion and that there's very little care around it to support you afterwards, to walk you through the entire process. Yeah, it makes me sad that people under the age of the drinking law, you can actually have an abortion and there's no care for you afterwards. That's pretty shocking in itself.
So I think it is important to sort of delve in more into what are the long-term effects of abortion. And I think the reason that maybe we don't talk about this is that there's that discrepancy in what does the research show. And then there's we have a lived experience.
Yeah. I think the lived experience is what really made me sort of delve into abortion a bit deeper and to really think about it a bit more, because what I was hearing from people I knew who'd had an abortion was so different than what I told it was supposed to be like. And hearing their struggles, and often, it wasn't straight afterwards. Some felt a lot of relief and that life did go back to normal, but then, sort of as it went down the track, it was like having all these emotions and thoughts, and why aren't we talking about it more? And where is the research, Why isn't there more being done around that if we really want to do this for women's mental health, and yet it could be putting their mental health at risk? I mean, that's huge.
The way we approach abortion and crisis pregnancy in our society is more criminalising than actually this law that they're trying to look at. I think especially around the fact that there isn't sort of a public arena of what is abortion, what does it mean to go through it, what does it mean to recover from it.
It just seems really contradictory that we want the best for women, and yet we're not providing them with the resources that they can actually make proper informed choices. And some ladies and men, even well into their 80s, they're still grieving the loss of their children. And it makes me sad that even for them, they don't have a space to grieve because there isn't one.
But if you're saying your belief is that this is what women want and women don't regret it and there's no long-term effects, if you're a woman that's actually experienced an abortion and actually there are things that you're carrying because of it, if the people that are meant to be supporting you are actually silencing you, where do you fit? If you don't feel comfortable with someone that's, say, pro-life because you've made this decision, that you've got still these long-standing things that you're carrying, things you're having to process, and then the opposite group is saying, well, no, actually, no, there aren't long-term effects for you. No, it doesn't increase your mental health vulnerability. No, it doesn't affect future pregnancies. No, you don't regret it.
Yeah.
She's even more isolated than she was before.
Yeah. A lot of the people I talk to at uni approach abortion from a very ideological viewpoint rather than looking at the emotional consequences that might come from having an abortion. For example, sort of just looking at it as it's the woman's choice, so she should be able to do whatever she wants to do without actually looking at how could this affect her.
On the flip side, are there any other organisations that you guys know about that actually support young women through unplanned pregnancies? Because I think it'd be awesome to actually get the word out there if we do have family and friends that find themselves in this situation, that they don't have a supportive inner circle, because unfortunately these things do happen.
Yeah, bringing up the whole idea around like what are the alternatives and are they accessible, you know, sort of being talked about that there's not easy enough access to abortion services, but I feel like we don't have access to any of the services. They're not well known, they're not really advertised or talked about. And I mean, apart from going to your GP or Googling stuff, I mean.
It's complex, you know, it is a complex scenario. And as a midwife, I feel like, oh, I should really know it all. I should have all the numbers and all the answers and all the referral awareness. And yet I feel like because it's such a complex thing, pregnancy in itself, I'm just trying to deal with what's currently right in front of my face. So the question has to be asked, if I'm actually doing pregnancy every day, all day, if you find out that you're pregnant and your first point of contact is your GP who just saw someone with bronchitis, what information are they going to have at the forefront of their mind for someone that just doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what this will involve? And
it just seems that the more we talk about abortion, one, we don't know much, all the ins and outs, but also there just seems to be this reoccurring theme of lack of support. There's lack of support for different issues that fit different communities. There's this ongoing isolation that's happening. And it just seems that abortion doesn't necessarily mean that we're moving forward as a society.
It's almost like it's just such a big task to look into what we can do better that we've kind of just settled at abortion instead of pushing for better and more, like support. Like
I'd really like to see a change in how informed a decision women are able to make. Also to change as a society, to have communities that actually look after each other. So that every woman knows that they will have the support of their neighbours, of their friends, of their community for whatever they're going to go through, so that they're able to make a decision that isn't something that they will end up regretting.
I hope the law reform actually reflects that, reflects the fact that we can and are capable of making great decisions for our society and for our communities, and what progression would actually look like in terms of better healthcare, better support systems, having conversations with the right groups of people well beforehand, before anything else happens, and not necessarily seeing abortion as a means to an end, like this needs to happen in order to go forward.